Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. Today's session is on increasing concentration through quotes and quotations. The favourite quotes and quotations at the dementia facility I worked at was, that the residents really enjoyed working with, indefinitely more or less, was think strong, be strong, keep calm and carry on, be positive, and to thine own self be true. These were the favourite quotes, the go-tos. We did many other quotes as well, but these were the ones that the residents really enjoyed getting into. So to explain how this started and how it developed, I had one resident at the unit I was at who was an incredible sportswoman. She'd represented New Zealand nationally with tennis and golf, and she played sport all throughout her life. So she was very much into the coaching ethos. And she had incredible discipline and willpower, and was very strong, even though she was a very slight lady. Anyway, for her, the 2 quotes that she really liked was be positive and think strong, be strong. So especially the be positive. And actually all the residents were really into that, being positive, because they didn't explain to me why they felt it was important, but I picked up that, well, unless you're positive in a place like a dementia unit, how on earth could you survive? I mean, there's so much depression and anger around. I mean, you'd just sink, wouldn't you, if you were negative the whole time in a dementia unit. And they realised that it was difficult to be positive. It took effort, it took willpower, but they all felt it was really important to be positive at a dementia unit. Anyway, this all started with this one lady, this sportswoman I mentioned, when I realised that, that this was important for the residents, because after I'd worked with her, I took it to the group and picked it up from there. But she could be aggressive, and she had an anger streak in her, and so she knew that she had to make an effort with positivity, otherwise she could flick to the other side easily. And so when we were sitting down talking about these marvelous quotes like being positive, that was what she always used to say. It's important to be positive. And she was lovely 80% of the time, excellent, and she really used to think deeply about these things. She'd always ask at the end of the session when I saw her, I want a card, her for the week. I'd see her once a week for half an hour or something. And she said, I want a card for the week. It was always quite difficult to get that card, and she liked it all to be new and original, and I drew little diagrams on it and all that sort of thing, coloured it in even. Anyway, be positive was the main one. And so I just get a whole lot of cards, like birthday cards, even old birthday cards, if they've just got a blank page on them, and stick it up by her, not stick it up, but place it by her bed on the dresser, Duchess, well, it's hardly a Duchess, it's just a little bedside table, yeah? So she always liked a card on her bedside table with a quote or a slogan, so as she said, I can think about it for the week. And she did. I'd write it on the card, for example, be positive, and sometimes on the other page, if it was blank, I'd put with thoughts, words, and actions. She liked that too. So be positive with thoughts, words, and actions. Anyway, she'd take this card, and she used to carry it around with her all day, walking around the unit, and she'd just carry the card. Sometimes she'd leave it somewhere and the staff would give it back to her, thankfully. It never got to the rubbish tin, which I really appreciated. So she'd just carry on taking it around the unit, and she'd put it by her whenever she was sitting down to have a cup of tea. And she carried it around like some of the residents used to carry around their teddy bears, Boy, she used to really concentrate on that. And I could see her lying down and looking at it and thinking about it. Anyway, I took this whole concept to the group, and she came along too sometimes. She wasn't that social, But anyway, she'd come along for the workshops because she liked the topics, these topics, same topics. Think strong, and be positive. I mean, the residents knew about the think strong, be strong quote and keep calm, carry on quote, because that was what was fed to us in the Christchurch earthquakes. Kia kaha, that's in Maori. Think strong, be strong, you know, keep calm and carry on. All these slogans and graffiti were all around the walls in Christchurch. And, you know, these slogans we implemented, you know, we did think about, we did action, we did try, of course, you know, when you're having aftershocks, you know, one thing is the earthquake, isn't it? The big crash, but it's the aftershocks, hundreds and thousands of aftershocks. You have to really, even to think about it makes you feel a bit wavy and whirly, curdled. So, yeah, you had to really be strong to get through all that stuff. I mean, we went through that for years. And the residents remembered that. And this whole thing of keep strong, be strong, you know, be calm, carry on, was in our regional psyche, in our Cantabrian psyche, Christchurch. It really became quite entrenched. And with that, it helped our attitude, it helped us become stronger. So, or it helped us remain strong, you know, those of us that survived, which was most of us, but to survive in the sense of coming out of it with, you know, relatively good mental health. I mean, you're always going to be affected with something like that. It's extremely stressful, you know, and you can often end up with physical stress ailments as a result. But as much as one can, to keep that strong, positive focus, you know, helps enormously. So I could tap into this with the residents, this whole thing of think positive, be strong. Even if they hadn't been sporty, at least from the Christchurch earthquakes, you could draw on that memory bank, and they certainly believed in that. And the other thing too, with this group of people here in New Zealand, with these residents, many in their 80s and 90s, their grandparents, their great-grandparents had come over on the ships from England. Imagine that, leaving your country, waving goodbye, never to return again, a lot of them. Imagine the courage they must have had, often with little children. They'd wave off on the ship, wave England, and off halfway around the world to New Zealand, often never to see their family again. Imagine the strength and the courage that would have taken, and then to come here with nothing. Well, they just had a couple, you know, their suitcases or their trunks, as they had then, on the horses, you know, or whatever, taking the children, a couple of sets of clothes, maybe a tea set, you know. Oh, Lord. And then they'd be put on I don't know what they lived in for the first few. Well, they just have to build a log cabin pretty quickly. Anyway, so this is the pioneering stock that these people have come from. So they are strong, you know, and their parents went through the war, they went through the Depression, you know, they had to work really hard to make an income, to survive, to bring up their family. So all of that strength, sort of that mental strength, that endurance is there, so it can be drawn on now as dementia with their dementia. You know, I mean, dementia is just memory loss. It's not that they're sick or psychiatric. It's just memory loss. So you just have to increase their confidence in this, increase confidence in their thinking power. That's the thing, to garner that concentration and discipline of concentration. And everything comes from concentration, which I'll go into in the next few videos. But the first and main thing is you've got to get that concentration, get that interest, garner that interest. And once you've got the interest, then you know that they'll make that effort and concentrate and get the fruit of that. Because always discipline, willpower, concentration, depth of thinking will bring fruit. You know, it brings energy, it brings, you know, awareness, it brings perspective. So many things we'll go into in the next few videos. So that's it for today. Thank you for your watching and likes, and happy Easter.